Hey, Panda Lee here with another Panda perspective, this time of Little Big Planet Karting. I'm sorry this one kind of got swept under the rug. I had plans to play it online with Phil, but if those plans fell through for whatever reason, and I just never got around to the review because we never played it online. So I'm going to be just doing a review of the story mode. I can't tell you about the online. I never played it, even off camera. Sorry guys, but it is what it is. I would have liked to have played it online with Phil, but just never happened. Anyway, Little Big Planet Karting. I'm a massive fan of Little Big Planets 1 and 2. It was so cute. It was like a little freeform. You could just run through the little side-scrolling level. It was great. I loved it. They took that and scrapped it and made it into a racing game. Now, anyone who knows me knows I hate racing games with a passion. I always end up sucking at them, and I just never have fun with racing games. I feel like, I don't know, there's no fun to it. You just go from point A to point B, wha-bam, that's kind of it. Mwah, I love my puppy. Now she goes to sleep over there. But I feel like Little Big Planet Karting is a little different because I like Sackboy, and the stuff that they added that was very Little Big Planet-esque I felt was really good. But I definitely don't think this game's a 10. I don't think it's a 1. And here's why. This story, there actually is a story, believe it or not, like the other Little Big Planet ones. It's a cutesy story. These things, I forget what they're even called at the moment. Something Trons or something. They're these little creatures that are stealing, like, all the items out of Little Big Planet. They're, like, stealing them and hoarding them. They're, like, little horde monsters, and they're stealing all these items. And for some reason, the only way to stop them is to defeat them in multiple races. I don't know. I couldn't even figure out the story for most of the other Little Big Planets myself, so this probably makes sense for them. And what you do is you have to get in 3rd place or better to proceed to the next level, like most racing games. It's not just you beat it, move on to the next one. You have to come in at least 3rd, because if you come in 4th, you're fucked. You gotta redo it. And what they did was, not only did they have where you race, it's you and like 7 other competitors. They're either sack bots or these little horde monsters. They actually put the prize bubbles and the points bubbles on the level, so instead of swinging through levels and going 2D side-scroller to get those prize bubbles for those items and costumes and stickers, you actually have to drive into them, which lends to massive replayability if you're one of those perfectionist completionists who wants to get first in every race and get all the prize bubbles. Definitely got replay there, but it can be frustrating. I understand some people don't want to do that, have to go back over and over for like over one prize bubble that's just so hard to reach, or that they don't know where it is. And I will say quickly, there's this one level, I think it's one of the space world levels, where all the prize bubbles, instead of like running into them and it says, oh, you got this prize, apparently it says we claimed all the prizes. Like, there's no prizes on this one particular level. Like, we drove through them already, even though it's our first time playing. I don't know. Some other people said they experienced this. I'm not quite sure what happened. If anyone knows for sure, like, if there was a reason for that, let me know. But I thought it was very bizarre, and it kind of threw me off. I wasn't really a fan of that, because it kind of felt like, oh, well, this kind of sucks. There's no, like, I'm not aspiring to do anything. Now it's just I focus solely on the race, which I think it is kind of a good distraction from the fact that it's a race, because it's a fun little family-friendly kiddie game. I don't want to be like, oh, this fucking race! Oh, I don't want to be like hardcore focused intense on it. So I think the prize bubbles kind of give it that fun little distraction needed to keep you from like raging when some asshole fucking hits you. And yeah, it's like Mario Kart. You pick up weapons and you can shoot them at people. Some of them are like targeting ones, some are just you gotta shoot them like behind you or in front of you, you gotta aim. There's some good weapons and there's some bad ones. The ones that target, those are the best, and the ones where it's like close proximity, like they're like on your ass, you can get rid of them. And not all weapons kill, some of them just like stun you. It's just like Mario Kart in a sense, and you're going through all sorts of levels and you're trying to get into different places. But I will say, like Mario Kart, it tends to be cheap. Every now and then there's just that one time the one weapon just like completely fucks you. The only defense you have against this is to use your own weapon. At this one moment there will be a shield icon on the bottom of your screen, and if you use the weapon button at the right time, it completely cancels each other out, so you lose your weapon but you're not stunned or killed. But it can be hard at times to get that. Like, I couldn't figure it out for some reason. I don't know, I just could not figure it out. And then when I figured it out, but the problem is having a weapon when this happens. Because people are all over the map, so they're driving through weapons at different times, and it's going after you. Oh, it's a lot. But I have to say, the music in that game was the best of any of the other Little Big Planets. I know that seems like a weird thing, but it's like, sometimes it kind of distracts me because I was focused on the music, but it was really good music, so I was glad I was focused on it. I wasn't focused on it because it was like obnoxious. But I really liked it. I really liked that it wasn't just all race levels too. They had levels like a kind of story level, like a mini story where you went through and you did different stuff. Like on the garden level, you have to like shoot a caterpillar to death or something. You're chasing this caterpillar and stuff. So they definitely, it's not just all racing all the time, so you don't feel like you're getting burned out on it like really fast if you're like me and you don't really enjoy racing games and you just get really, really tired of them. And they still have the customization there. Not only can you still customize your Sackboy with costumes, you can even use costumes from the first and second Little Big Planets that you've collected. If you've collected costumes for that, at the time I don't think all of them were available, but they'll say like eventually all that stuff will be available. They're all synced together. Not only can you customize your Sack character, excuse me, yawn stuck in me, you can also customize the cart. And I think for pre-ordering, I got a Kevin Butler and some other ones. Like, I got a Kevin Butler Sackboy and, like, a matching cart. There are carts that kind of match your characters. There are some really funny ones. There's, like, an eggs and bacon one. There's the Kevin Butler one that I can remember. There's one for United Front Games, and I think there's a cardboard one. There's, like, a little truck, a little monster truck. They're all really cute. But I don't think it actually affects any stats in the game. Like, one car isn't particularly faster than another. Oh my god, excuse me. Yawning all over the place. But I don't think it actually affects anything in the game. Like, if you pick a cardboard base rather than, like, I don't know, a tin can base. So, I don't know, it doesn't even matter, which is good and bad. It kind of would have been cool to see certain things be affected by it, but at the same time be annoying. It's like, I want to do this design, but it's making my stats go down. So, I don't know, it depends on what kind of person you're like when it comes to those games, but I love the customization that they kept it. You can make your own tracks, but if you don't know how to do any, like, Little Big Planet customization stuff, oh my god, there's like 54 tutorials, and you get a trophy for sitting through all of them. Off camera, I sat through all of them, and I wanted to blow my brains out after 15-20. They have so many freaking tutorials. And that was my problem that I had with the first two. There were too many goddamn tutorials. Not that you don't kind of need some of them, but some of them it's like, who gives a shit? I might not use this. I just want the basic how to put down the track, and maybe, like, put some shit in the background, and maybe make something, like, fucking attack me. It's like, damn. I don't need a fucking, like, memoir on how to play this damn game. But the final level is an epic boss fight, which is cool. And then there's the cutesy story at the end. They always have a cutesy, oh, friendship is great. My Little Pony. Only we're not ponies. We're little knit people. It's great. It's wonderful. Hallelujah. One of those endings. It's definitely not a serious story. It's not really it's not the focus of the game. The game is mostly focused on its customization elements. And here I think they tried to focus on, look, we're not just a side-scrolling little adventure game. We can do other things with it and still make it as customizable. I personally, though, I don't know. Some of the levels I didn't really like as much because they were taking worlds from the other games and making racing levels out of it. And just some of them I thought were better than others. Like the space levels I thought were the most amazing. They were so well thought out. While like the World to Tomorrow kind of was weird. Some of the levels didn't make sense. I don't know. It was a little bizarre. Some of the levels I didn't like as much. Some of the levels had like grappling areas or there were hidden areas in almost all the levels. I couldn't find all of them. Some of them were really hard. But I definitely recommend playing this with a friend online just for the sake of trying it, because I can't tell you what it's like. I never played online, but I have a feeling this would be good to play with your friends online, especially because maybe they could help you get the prize bubbles. I don't know if you can do that, but in Little Big Planet 2, when you played like online with people, if they let's say if they went up and they grabbed a prize bubble you couldn't get, you got it too. So I don't know if that's the same, but if it is, I recommend trying that. Might be easier for you and for your friend. Oh, puppy sleepy. But I think it's a good game. You can go online with your friends or make new friends. I think that was always the point, was to customize everything and to make friends doing it. Oh, jeez. I could not stop yawning. I am very tired suddenly. I need a nap. But I have to say, the story, it's like I'm going to give it a 7.5 because it's what's expected for Little Big Planet. It didn't blow me away with a suddenly super serious story, which I think would have given a negative points for me. But it was a cutesy ending. It was very E-friendly. It was definitely something your little kid would appreciate, maybe grandma. The levels themselves, I think a lot of them were really well thought out, but they organized it like by worlds like the other games. Some of the worlds had a level that just didn't make sense, and that kind of bothered me. Like, it would have nothing to do with anything, or would just be kind of weird for it. Like, they would do different things to it that would just make it seem off. So I gotta give it a little fault for that. So I think the levels themselves, I have to give a 7.5. I'm gonna give the levels a 7.5. The music was like getting a 9 out of 10 because that music was just awesome. It fit the levels. It wasn't like too distracting. It wasn't like they were playing like heavy metal in the background, which you would just focus on either the race or the music. Sometimes I did focus on it though because it was kind of cool. But it's definitely not distracting in the sense that it's like really obnoxious or just you can't hear it. It was definitely needed. Gameplay, I think it was like Mario Kart, but a little less cheap. It still had moments where it was cheap, but it was definitely less cheap than Mario Kart. So if you like those kids racing games, but you hate Mario Kart because of its cheapness, Little Big Planet I recommend because it's not as cheap, but there will be times where you'll get dicked over and it'll feel like it's out of nowhere. But overall, the game was good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because I think it's a good attempt at going in a different direction for Little Big Planet. I don't know if they're making a Little Big Planet Racing 2, what they're doing next with this series, if anything. But I think they were pretty successful in turning it into a racing game. It still felt like Little Big Planet with the making your own levels and the prize bubbles and the customization, your pod and the worlds. Like, it all stayed Little Big Planet. They just made it that you're in a car and you're driving the whole time. And I thought that the missions that weren't just races, like where you had to kill like the caterpillar and the garden level, I thought those were really unique. I thought that was a good idea to distract from the fact that it's not a serious hardcore racing game like other racers out there. This is very kid-friendly. I recommend trying the online. If the community's anything like the first and second games communities, they're really great people. They're willing to help you out if you tell them ahead of time. Like, if you want something, a lot of the people will be very nice and try to help you get it. But overall, I have to say, the game was great. I loved it. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 is actually what I'm going to give it. I like 8 out of 10. Definitely worth it to give to your little kids or to grandma if grandma's one of those people that wants to play those cutesy games with kids. It'd be kind of funny to see a grandma. Out my fucking way, bitches! Meow. That'd be funny as hell. That was the worst grandma impression too. But that is my Panda perspective. Little Big Planet Karting, a very good attempt. If you prefer racing over the little side-scrolling adventure, I definitely recommend getting this one. Customizations there, online plays there. All the makings of a great kids game. 8 out of 10. Give this to your children if you're not willing to give them Hitman Absolution. Okay, everybody, Panda Lee signing off with a sleepy poochie. Oh, sleepy.